I would like to invite our next speaker to the stage. He is passionate about learning, about changing, and about discovering new things. He's the founder of Xaxis, and he will be joining us. He's the technical founder of Xaxis, let me put that correctly. And he's joining us also on the Founders Games later on. Please welcome to the stage Mr. Oliver Thamm.
Okay, maybe I just start by introducing myself. I'm Oliver from Zappix. I'm a CTO of a 2-year-old company. We are Berlin-born and New York-based. We do a GitHub for APIs, to make it short. We have the experience that, the learnings that I'm going to present to you today. We learned that in 2 years of building Zappix.io. We went basically from hackathon to hackathon for a period of a year to find out, thanks, that's great, to find out what keeps developers back in integrating APIs. So we did that for a very long time. These were our field studies, and I'm happy to share our learnings here to help everyone build better APIs. When I'm talking about APIs, I actually mean web APIs, so everything that can be accessed through the web. Twitter has one, Facebook has one, everyone has one. In fact, 37% of all US enterprises want to have one, and Europe is catching up very quickly lately. So here we go. API accessibility, key concepts driving developer adoption. When you release an API, obviously, you want developers to actually integrate with it and build solutions on top of it. And I'm flipping through our key learnings here that will help you to actually build a better API and to understand the software developers as customers of a product that the API in fact is. The very first problem you need to be aware of when starting to work on your API is you've got an internal perspective. And this is very bad in terms that you know too much about your product. You gotta go into this normal feedback cycle that every product basically needs in their life cycle to talk to the customer, what their preference is about the product, what they like, what they hate. And then you fix it, you iterate, and then you release a product that the market actually demands. With the internal perspective, just knowing your own company, your internal IT systems, you won't get there. So know your role. You are the provider and the maintainer of data and services that come out of your company's systems. The keyword in the little dilbert that I'm showing here is in the middle box, and it says interoperability, which means the systems of your corporation are meant to be interoperable with the systems of your customers, and you don't know the systems of your customers. Customers don't know your system. The API is in between and describes the protocol to communicate. Secondly, know your customer. What are their needs? What is his nature? There's usually an entrepreneur role in API clients who has a nice business case. His aim is to test this in a very lean way. He wants cheap and early validation. And there's an executor role, a deliverer, who's maybe a software developer, maybe a designer, but they all want rapid delivery of features to go down an MVP that can be put in front of their customers. So the easy value chain here is, if you lower the barrier of access to your APIs, the more business cases, the more lean business cases you will have, the more of them will succeed, the more traction you will have, and the more dollars in your pocket. Great. So let's start with the key factors that we discovered hold developers back in integrating APIs. The number one by far is authentication. We have a bunch of standards here. API keys is usually just a token that is unique for each user. Sometimes it's a company account. There's basic auth things, it's not so super secure. We have OAuth, which calls itself a standard, but it didn't standardize much. I've done at least a dozen OAuth authentications yet, and I haven't done the same work twice. There's Java Web Tokens, which is an interesting technology, but whatever you choose, do not, and I repeat, do not do it yourself. Don't reinvent the wheel, don't do another authentication method. So we learned in our field studies with the hackathon participants that their biggest drop-off is in the authentication. They struggle to make that work, they don't really like doing it. It's like kind of the necessary evil you gotta do. So I try to keep this simple and straightforward. Or requiring some callback modes, they just mock it. Slides complexity, they're going to mock it and put together some nice PowerPoint slides and hard code something where no one can evaluate if it's actually actively built. The next big thing is how do I access the data? So I managed to get my authentication token, how do I get access? The easiest thing and the straightforward thing is to just copy and paste something into Postman or into curl and do a raw HTTP request. So make sure this is already a nice experience. Use the default header fields, provide at least the authorization header and a content type, and let your service respond to that in an appropriate fashion. Then there's some response parser libraries, so you do basically the request yourself, and the parser library will translate that into whatever data structure your favorite programming language comes with. There's more advanced ORM approaches. For example, Ruby has an active resource approach that's really nice. And of course, there's more advanced solutions like frameworks, like SDKs. You can build that out to any kind of complexity. SDKs is usually a very good idea if you have dedicated devices that you want to access this API with. If you want to reach a broader set, like web applications, service scripts, whatever, it makes a lot of sense to just go through HTTP and have a really nicely set up HTTP API. So we learned the major thing is discovery. The very early phase is really crucial. Developers like to open Postman, curl, paste something in, copy and paste is like our very biggest learning. I should have made that red and blinking here. Developers are, like a lot of developers are lazy, let's put it that way. Copy and paste something from Stack Overflow, or in this case, from some documentation piece, will make their life so much easier and they're much happier people. The next big thing is they want to inspect the data that they get back, and it needs to be in an understandable format. So if it's like really deeply nested data, that's probably turning them off. They need a data format they know. JSON right now is the most popular one. We'll see a little graphic soon. And what was it in the last one? Yeah, see at the last one, the red line is JSON API, the blue one is XML. That's Google search terms. And the third step here is the implementation step. They figured it out. Like, don't worry about that. Once your API is easy and understandable, they will figure the code out. They expect a certain set of features. I've taken this from a REST slideshow that I really admire. This is best practices in API features. Developer expects, so filtering the syntax examples that I posted from JSONAPI.org. I can only recommend reading that, it's really nice. The video was as standard. So filtering, sorting, that's the most important ones. Pagination, sparse field sets, so they don't get more data than they actually need. And compound documents, this is a hypermedia thing to request related resources to, it works like database joins, if you haven't heard of it. So we learned the top questions in the hackathons that developers approached us with, and also the data providers that we work for is, can I filter for X? Can I sort for Y? How can I combine X and Y? And if you have to answer these questions in a negative way, that gives a bad feeling to everyone. Now here in the fourth point, I set it in brackets because it's a little mean one, because actually one of the most asked developer questions is, do you also have that? And you build the nicest API, you think like you totally killed it. You have all the data available, and people will kick ass stuff. And the first question is, yeah, but you also have that, and you say, oh, damn. So that's really bad. That's something we learned, and where we provided some walking features. I'll come back to that later. There's major design decisions in APIs to be made. So there's design, there's domain-driven design, there's REST, there's RPC, there's GraphQL. By far the most popular search term in Google is REST API. It has the biggest market share in new APIs. So I'm a strong advocate for doing what the market wants. REST API is probably a safe choice. What we learned is in the hackathons that hackers understand HTTP, they understand REST, they understand CRUD. That's like the basics. They really get that. You don't need to explain it. You save a lot of manuals to be written. If you just provide them the stuff that they know. Postman is really important for them. A lot of developers use it. The ones who don't use curl. Make sure that these things are like conveniently accessible. They struggle understanding SOAP. This is like the 90s technologies. If you're new in the business, deeply nested data, that's the kind of struggle. And unfortunately, I shed some bitter tears around that. They don't understand hypermedia, unfortunately. This is how we started with our project, and we had to provide simpler data outputs because people didn't get it like right away if they were familiar with concepts before. Schema and documentation, always a big thing. There's Swagger Open API that has a lot of traction lately because people actually like Swagger UI. Has a lot of traction. It's called Open API now in version 2, so be careful about that. It's a very nice descriptive format to describe APIs. It's not a real standard, don't mistake that. But there are standards that are out there, not like that standard that actually kills it and everyone uses it and knows it. The one I like personally most is JSONAPI.org. It's really smart people maintaining the standard, so take a look at it. There's at least some good ideas in that to apply to your own APIs. There's JSON-PAL and OData, but none of them got like the killer traction that would say like now everyone's doing it that way. What we learned, especially in regards to Swagger UI, no one does CodeGen. So they have a CodeGen feature. I know a lot of these descriptive languages that let you generate code. I don't personally have ever talked to a single developer who actually used that feature. Swagger UI, meanwhile, is actually very popular. People like it. People like they resemble the interface. They have used that before. And here again, the bitter tears I shed. Hypermedia is not very popular, unfortunately. And so yeah. The documentation part. There's a bunch of nice solutions out there. I know a lot of people who like, for example, README.io. It's not a company I'm related to. There's others. There's people putting up their own wikis. There's people putting all their documentation on GitHub. There's people who create a new website to host their documentation. I think we all agree keeping documentation up to date is very painful in textual form. This is also what the little Dilbert here is supposed to illustrate. We're a big fan. A really big fan of videos. We do short screencasts. We try to make our APIs self-explanatory, with the formats people know, with what the market demands, and we try to do it in like 2-minute YouTube video snippets. That's usually the attention span people have on the internet for videos. The other big tip I have here is use error messages in the way that they are first-class citizen of your documentation. Developers value a lot if something goes wrong and you just tell them what goes wrong and what they are supposed to do instead. This is the best documentation you can have. They can figure the rest out. They request. If you tell them there's a header missing, if you tell them there's a certain parameter missing, anything else. And what we even do, we took that from JSONAPI.org, we provide them a list of things that went wrong. So not that they do a request, they get back the very first error message, then they do the next one, and they get the next error message. Provide them a list of everything that's wrong with their request as good as you can, and they can fix it and go straight ahead. No one ever personally asked me for a manual to Zappix, and I'm sort of proud of this, and I believe, I'm a deep believer in simple API design, and when you manage to do that successfully, no one will ask you as well for manuals, and you get rid of all the tiring documentation pieces. There's a big issue with maintenance. I know a lot of API providers who don't keep a proper change log, who don't notify their users about changes. My main point here is pay the same attention to the maintenance of an API that you pay to maintain a website. It's the same technology. It's both HTTP normally. It's a distribution channel. You want to sell your products through that channel. Pay the same attention to the API that you would with an HTTP website. Do continuous integration, do tests, do zero downtime, error reporting, logging, everything that you do for a website. Conclusions for developers. So this is a bunch of features that we at Zappix came up with during that entire process, optimizing the developer experience for our adapters. I'm not sure we need to flip through all of these. I'm just encouraging you to go through an agile, iterative process, getting feedback, learning from your customers what they demand, and draw your conclusions and implement the appropriate features. For the provider and maintainer side, the main learnings here, the main takeaways should be that an easy API access drives traction more than anything else. Secondly, context matters. Try to understand how your customers are using the product, which is the API. What other APIs from Facebook, from Twitter, are they using? Which endpoints are they using? Find the tools that enable that, or come after the talk to. And we'll talk about our own tool for it. And thirdly, mocking resources. That's like one of the key features, and I'm getting back to this bracket 4 question I posted out earlier that said, like, what do you also have that? We came up with a mocking feature in our APIs so people can just model the stuff that they need on their own and tell the API providers, hey, look, this is what I need, can you provide this? And you just need to say, no, that's not going to happen. Or you can say, like, yeah, a bunch of people requested that, I'm going to build that for you. We'll let you know in a minute. Yes, that's it from my end. I hope you all got some small takeaways from this, and you got some tools now to build better APIs or to improve your existing ones. I'm happy to answer any question. I'm going to be around here for more. Are there any questions now from the audience?
So you mentioned that you, for most projects, prefer REST instead of GraphQL, but there are some trends that GraphQL becomes more popular recently. So what are the typical use cases you will prefer GraphQL versus REST? What are your considerations?
Well, that's a very nice question. GraphQL is becoming, or it has a lot of buzz lately. I agree. It's the newest hype train, and it certainly has a good reason to be that. The negative part about GraphQL versus REST for me is that you actually need to know a lot about the underlying systems. You need to describe the path to the data and what you need, which requires you to know how the existing systems are organized and what they look like. If you set up a very simple REST API with flat data structures and so on, my personal opinion is that's more self-explanatory. And this is also what kept me with my company back in doing the GraphQL output and interface yet. I'm not saying it's never going to happen, but I feel there's more simple approaches to achieve the same.